Hey everyone! Do you struggle with helping your kids to eat healthy? Well, today's video is all about my tips for feeding kids and helping them to develop a healthy relationship with food. I'm no expert, I don't claim to be, so take this advice or leave it. And always work closely with your child's pediatrician. But I have learned a lot about this subject the past couple of years as I've gone through my own health transformation. I'm a registered nurse and recently lost 125 pounds with Brightline Eating and have seen some amazing changes in my family's eating habits. Before I started Brightline Eating, my husband, my 3 little girls, ages 9, 6, and 2, and I ate the Standard American Diet. And it's funny that this acronym for Standard American Diet spells SAD, sad, because the Standard American Diet really is sad. The Standard American Diet made me very sick, and I found myself at 284 pounds with signs of prediabetes. So many of us struggle with our health and our weight, and our food culture is really causing us to be sick because of the food that we eat. Highly processed foods that are laced with huge amounts of sugar and flour just are obviously not good for us. And a lot of foods that we buy from fast food restaurants or processed foods from the grocery store contain artificial man-made ingredients that are just put into our food to make it crave-worthy and to preserve it or to give it color to make it enticing. These ingredients are not good for us, and they're making us and our kids sick. It is so scary that almost 80% of the US population is overweight or obese. And the consequence of being overweight and obese are devastating for our society and leads to diet-related diseases like heart disease, diabetes, stroke, and even some cancers. I'm really disturbed by my kids' food choices at school. And I worry about the future of our children being raised in this food culture. I don't think that there is an easy fix, and I'm still trying to figure this out for myself. But I'd like to share what I've learned, and I'd love to hear your thoughts and your ideas for helping kids to develop a good relationship with healthy food as well. When I started doing Brightline Eating in October of 2020, I decided that I would not push my new meal plan of no sugar and no flour on my family. I wanted to be really careful because I have 3 little girls, and it's important for me that they know that they didn't know that I was trying to lose weight. I have always felt that it's important to model a healthy body image for my girls, and the way that I tried to do that was that no matter my size, I always talked about how much I loved my body and how grateful I am for all that it does for me. Even at 284 pounds at that time, I talked about how strong I was and how amazing it was that my body gave me 3 little babies, and I never weighed myself in front of them or talked bad about myself, even though sometimes I did feel bad about myself. I literally lost 125 pounds, and I don't even think that my little girls knew or noticed. And it's so funny to me. Kids are so loving, and I'm so grateful that they loved me for me and not what I look like. So what I tried not to do was not to ever criticize my body or talk about losing weight in front of them. I also tried to never make them feel restricted in any way. For sure, I wasn't perfect at this. What I did try to do was use the verbiage of making healthy choices so that our family could be healthy and strong and have good energy. I talked up my food a lot, and I showed them like the pretty colors. I taught them how it's just so important to try to eat the rainbow every day, and we would make a game of it. I taught them what each color of food did for them. So red foods give us a strong heart, orange foods help us to see in the dark, yellow foods help us to heal cuts, green foods help us to fight germs, blue foods and purple foods give us a strong brain, and white foods give us energy. And instead of restricting them from eating sugar and flour completely, I chose to gradually stop buying those processed high sugar foods until I eventually phased it almost completely out at home. So we replaced sugar cereals with healthy cereals and sugar-free oatmeal. It was very gradual. It literally took more than a year. But now my kids love eating sugar and flour-free oatmeal, pancakes, and muffins that I make for me. Okay, I don't know that they love it, but they tolerate it and they don't complain about it anymore, and they seem to like it. So I think that the trick with kids, especially young kids, is to understand your role and their role. Your role as a parent is to provide them with healthy choices at mealtime and snack time. Their role is to choose if they eat it and how much they eat. They don't have to eat it if they don't want to. You can't force feed your kids. At dinner time, I simply make them a plate with several different healthy options on it, with all of the food groups. And I put at least one food that I know that they'll love, like fruit, for example. And I encourage them to simply smell, lick, and taste each item. They don't have to eat it all or anything if they don't want to, but we eat at meal times and at snack time at the table. And they can take it or leave it. They know that I'm not going to cook a separate meal for them, and that after dinner, there's nothing else until breakfast. If they want to eat a ton of one thing on their plate, like strawberries or something, I say, yes, of course, just smell, lick, and taste the other things first. And then I close my eyes and I let them eat however much they want of the different things that I've made. And I try not to fight with them about making them eat their meat or their broccoli. It's so hard, I know. I may encourage them once or twice to teach them that what protein does for their body, or how veggies help them to be healthy, but then I just let them choose. So I always put it on their plate to expose it to them, and then give them the opportunity to eat it. And I found that more and more they're choosing to eat it. And sometimes they only eat a couple of bites for dinner, and other times they eat a ton of food. And that's just what kids do. They know how much they need, and I never force them to eat more than they want. Their intuition and food signals are still intact, unlike mine. And I simply ask them, is your tummy full? And we'll do a little game where I ask their tummy, are you full? And they'll say yes or no. And then, so just trying to help them to learn to listen to their body. I think that it's our responsibility as parents to teach them what a healthy plate looks like and why it's important to eat the different food groups. But again, we can't force them. We can teach them and we can provide healthy options at home, but when they're outside of the home, we don't have a lot of say at school or at their friends' houses or grandma's house. So I try to model healthy eating behaviors at home, and then I just allow them to choose when they're outside of the home. It's important to teach them why too many candies or cookies can hurt their body, but that they're okay to have them sometimes. My pediatrician said to teach them that a treat is not a treat if you have it every day. So that's really helped my girls to understand moderation a little bit better. Even though I am not a person that can moderate, my kids can. My kids have their Halloween candy and their Easter candy, and they eat a lot of it on those holidays. On Halloween and Easter, I just let them eat as much as they like, and then they know that we put it in a bag with their name on it, and we put it in my closet. And they can have a piece whenever they like. They only ask for it once or twice a week, but I tell them that they can have it anytime so that they don't feel deprived. We teach our kids math and reading and science, but teaching them to be healthy and to eat healthy is one of the most important things that they can learn when they're young. Our job is to teach them really the best lessons are not from talking about it, but from showing them and modeling healthy eating ourselves. That speaks a lot louder than words. So talk up your healthy food. They Kids get so much junk food at school and at their friends' houses and at grandma's house that lately I just have been doing dinners with meat, fruit, and veggies and a fat, without the starch, because they just get so much starchy food for breakfast and lunch, and they don't ever really eat their veggies and their fruits and their protein. So I don't know if that's the best thing to do, but it has worked really well for my kids since they eat school lunches right now, and it just helps them to get their veggies and their fruit in. One trick is to give kids their veggies and their meat first while you're still preparing the rest of the meal, and like when they're really hungry so that they fill up on that, and then give them the rest of the meal or the thing that they really love. But that way they can at least get their protein and veggies in first. There are a lot of recipes with no sugar and no flour that are great for kids. We make sugar and flour free muffins and pancakes, and my trick is to just put in ground up seeds and Greek yogurt in those as hidden ingredients to give them a boost of nutrition. When we do have cereal or at home or oatmeal, I just sprinkle like some ground up flaxseed in their cereal to boost the nutritional value. It's invisible, but seeds are really one of the healthiest foods on the planet. I think that the responsibility of feeding kids is one of the hardest parts about being a parent. It's so hard, you guys. But just realize that the best way that you can help your kids is to model healthy behavior and to show them what healthy eating looks like instead of just telling them. Be an example and just be patient. It takes time for your family's eating habits to change. It takes months and years, and it isn't going to happen overnight. So just like your own transformation took a long time, this is also going to take a long time. So just be consistent and patient in offering the healthy choices to them over and over and over. Don't make 2 different meals at meal times. They're going to be fine. They're not going to starve. They'll eat when they're hungry and when they need to. Don't stress about it or project your worries onto them. Just teach them. Model healthy behavior for them, provide healthy food at the table during meal times and snack times, and learn to trust your kids. They don't have the same food issues that you have. There's hope for them to be able to avoid the food issues that you have. But if they do have their own food issues, work with their pediatrician and separate your role from their role. They have their choices too. You can only teach them, provide healthy choices for them, and show them through your words and your actions. But ultimately, fighting with them will not help, and it will just make you both frustrated. They choose what they eat from the things that you offered them. I love the saying, so kids get to choose how much and if they eat. And as parents, we choose when and what they eat. If it's too overwhelming to change your whole family's diet, just focus on yourself first. Change your eating habits first, and don't worry about changing everyone else's diet too. If it's going to be too much and if it's going to delay your progress and paralyze you from making the changes that you need to. It's not selfish. The best gift that you can give to your family is your own health and your wellness mentally and emotionally, spiritually, and physically. Put on your oxygen mask first, and then you'll have more capacity to help others and to help your family. Just do your best and be patient. Feel free to reach out to me if you have more questions about feeding your family and adopting a healthy lifestyle. I offer one-to-one coaching, and you can sign up for a free coaching call on my website at erinharthealthcoaching.com. Be sure to follow me on social media and YouTube to learn all of my tips and tricks to help you on your journey to a healthier future. I hope that you have a great day. I will see you next week. Bye.